Yeah, welcome. We get all the business taken care of here. Uh, this goes on. And this goes on. Live chat. State. All right. Hey, there's Steve Smith.
Evening.
What's up?
Not a lot. I'm trying to be sick this week. I think I'm about over it.
How's the park? Do you know?
I saw an email today that I don't know if you got that or not. I'll read it to you real quick what it said. It said, "Hello all, wanted to thank John Wall and Terry McKenna for helping out today. With the county's efforts to power brush the asphalt surfaces, they still have a minor amount of dirt on them, but overall the circle is good enough to fly. The picnic tables are set up so that when it rains, it will clean those off. The run-up stands are tipped forward again to allow the rain to clean those off also. One stand needs to be repaired. We're going to try and get a water truck out there to clean up the asphalt surfaces. I need to coordinate with the county on this one and find out if the county plans on doing this with their equipment. I will know more later this upcoming week after our GLSMA meeting on Tuesday night." I didn't know they still had GLSMA meetings. And then he says something about the porta potty being broken. Well, anyway, I guess it is technically flyable. You're going to get your tires dirty though.
We got a porta potty. It's off on the other side there. It's real long. It's green.
Yeah, I know. I know. I guess if somebody has another pressing type of a matter that they can't go choke the lizard in the weeds, maybe they need to. Well, heck, there's a porta potty down by the RC place if you're really hurting. I'd just as soon it be down there and not be sitting right next to it.
Oh, it's nice to have the potty up here by us. I think.
Do you have a second where you could go send me in the chat an Amazon link to your sandpaper?
I haven't posted a link yet, a store link yet. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, that would do that if you had it, but if not, just direct me to what kind you're buying. I know it seems like you used to use yellow colored adhesive paper, and then it recently changed to that rust color.
Yeah,
Is it 3M or what is it?
it's 3M. Just look for 3M rolled sandpaper, sticky back sandpaper.
Huh. I not paying attention and I completely ran myself out. I have zero adhesive sandpaper in my house.
Yeah, that Gold Bond sandpaper was 80 grit only.
Oh,
And I like the 3M better than the Gold Bond.
I guess the gold bond I was getting, Dubro was selling it.
Hey, Bob.
Hey guys,
Hey Bob, by the way, I never did get that package that you were emailing out a couple sessions ago. I don't know.
let's do it right now.
Okay.
Um, there's a whole bunch of stuff. You didn't get it?
No, never came.
Let me make sure I had the right address. Hold on a second. I sent a bunch of them out. Other people had, from that same thing responded, and I sent them, and they all got them.
I checked my spam and everything.
All right, so
It's 51 pages.
yeah, and a bunch of different email. Uh, see now, I send it to. I didn't get a kickback either.
Yeah.
Steven, that's
That sounds like you sent it to the other Steve Smith.
well, I'm sure he liked them.
Yeah. Here's mine. I just sent it in the chat.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, he did because he mentioned that he got it.
Sorry about that.
He probably gets all kinds of stuff that he didn't ask for because I asked for it.
Starts with an S and ends with an M.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, who was I talking to the other day? Somebody about something. Steve Smith. Oh yeah. I'm like, no, I promise it's not. Oh yeah, you've never met me. I'm not that Steve Smith.
I'm gonna just forward what I sent to Steve to you.
Sure.
Okay, forward. Put on there. And what I'll do too is I'm gonna forward a bunch of stuff I sent to other people, so I don't have to just reload it, you know. There's a bunch of, hold on a second, I'll put something in here. Flash manual.
Does this have lost foam manuals in it and whatnot?
No,
Um, this one is the one with the fuselage construction, but yeah, I got a problem here because I copied what you sent and it says, does not appear to be a valid email address. Should I send it anyway?
SPS3172 at yahoo.com.
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's me.
you copied it
I'll
wrong.
try it. Are you at your computer? Well, obviously you're
Yeah,
at your
I'm
computer.
sitting right here.
Say, uh, huh. Not send message using the server. Huh. It doesn't like you.
It's not by any chance chop the last character off or anything.
Yeah. If you copied it, Control A and pasted it, probably it's HTML and not usable.
Oh, it has mail to. Yeah, okay. I see what I did here. I'll see if I can edit message. Okay. Let's take the mail to out.
There we go.
I just got this computer, about 10 years ago, so I'm not used to it yet.
I mean, there are some little persnickety things that you could be a user for years and years, and if they didn't ever happen to you.
All right, let me know if that comes through. If it does, then we'll be on our way. I just went out.
Is it true that John Miller is going to give everybody a harmonica lesson tonight?
If you want.
Okay.
We can jam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We tried that once. It doesn't come through over Zoom very well.
No, it just doesn't.
Did you say, Bob, that you had a Taylor 714?
I got a 516 CE and I got a 2011 Spring Limited, and I have I just bought a Noel Gallagher signature Riviera. That's behind me here, right there. Are you playing?
Yeah.
Play
Not-
Taylors?
Well, my first guitar was a Taylor GA8.
Wow.
I got back in 2008, and I ended up, I don't know, I sold it or traded it, or I don't know what I did with it, but I don't have it anymore. And I happened to get online looking at Taylor guitars, and it's like, holy cow.
Now, one of them I have is $4,000, and the other one's 3,500.
Well, that GA, yeah, I got your message here. Here it is. Thank you.
Yeah, what I'll do here as we're talking here, I'll send you a whole bunch of stuff. You don't have to respond that you got it, just,
Sure.
because they're gonna be coming in separate emails. So they're gonna be actually things that I sent to other people that same night, actually.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Anyway, I didn't start learning to play till I was already middle-aged. 2008 is when I started.
Mhm.
And for a while I got way too wrapped up in buying and selling and not learning to play.
What kind of stuff do you play?
Well, I mean, Eagles, I don't know,
Okay.
just a number of acoustic pop songs that I've learned how to play.
Americana,
Sheryl Crow
right?
songs, and yeah, that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
so we have to, Chris Christopherson and Willie Nelson and Birds and Eagles and everything. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
do too. And I'm a Travis picker, if you know what that is. I'm like a Chet Atkins style player.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't play like Chet Atkins,
I'd like to. I actually have a DVD that I bought way back when that I never really went all the way through. It was a flat picking DVD.
Mm-hmm. I used to cross pick, which is a flat picking technique.
Uh-huh.
And then I got into Travis picking, and now I don't even think I own a flat pick. Everything's fingerstyle now,
When you
except for lead playing. I lead
finger
play.
style with like the banjo finger picks, you mean? Is that what
Yeah,
you
it's a Travis picking. Yeah, you keep an alternating bass going, and then you play the treble with the upper three strings plays the treble, and the lower three plays the bass.
Okay.
And it's very complicated to learn that.
Right.
And the hardest part about it is when you think you got it, try to sing over it because
Oh yeah.
it's like trying to pat your stomach and pat your head and rub your stomach times 10.
Sure.
But eventually you get it. I do a lot of open mics, so it's a lot of practice.
Yeah, I've not ever taken it to the level of performing anything anywhere.
Well, you ought to go out to open mics. There's no judgment at those things.
I have all this extra self-esteem I don't know what to do with. I should take it to one of them.
It's fun to play. It really is.
Yeah.
I agree to that.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter how good you are. And that's not, at our age, we're not going to be Eric Clapton or, Joe Bonamassa anyway, so.
I wouldn't mind cashing Joe Bonamassa checks still somehow.
Yeah, how about it? My favorite guitar player in the whole world, you may not know him, you may, is a guy named Tommy Emmanuel.
Oh yeah, I've heard of him.
I'm a huge Tommy Emmanuel fan. I've seen him live a number of times, and he's my favorite acoustic player. My favorite electric player is also Eric Clapton's favorite electric player, and that's Albert Lee. Studio guy.
Hmm.
So it's fun. And pretty much that's all I'm going to be able to do pretty much here from this point forward because my model airplane flying days are pretty much over.
Have you ever built any guitars?
Actually, I'm building two of them now. I'm building a replica Martin D28 herringbone, and I'm building a Gibson J200. And I'm using model airplane technology to do it.
In what way?
Well, I cut when you're doing acoustics, you got the tooling. You have to make the molds, to hold the belt.
Yeah.
And I decided to do that out of foam, out of 4-pound foam, and then cover it with plywood. And I have a perfect shape. So I showed that to a Luther. He said, no one's ever done this way before. And he says it's perfect. Because normally what they do is they stack a bunch of plywood up together and glue it
Yeah.
the thickness they want, and they take it to a bandsaw and try to bandsaw it out accurately. I'll show you a picture of it. It's model airplane technology.
Now you're not going to use model airplane glue, are you?
No, I'm using Titebond because that's what they use.
I thought that D18 you want to build that with that hot hide glue.
Well, you would think so. I'm lost how to get in here. So am I still on?
Yeah.
How do I get back in here?
Marky, you should switch to hot hide glue.
No.
That'd slow you down so you didn't build so fast.
Huh. I'm having a hard time getting back in here.
Look for a green box.
Not the bottom.
The
Down the
bottom.
bottom.
Mine doesn't show until I get the cursor down there.
That ain't it. Green
Just
box.
to the right of center screen at the bottom.
No, that ain't it. I'm gonna go back out and come back in.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I'm back. Huh. What was the question?
You were going to show us some kind of mold.
Oh yeah, well the question was about glue. I use Titebond 2, even though I think Titebond 3 would probably be better. It's more like high glue. But Martin Guitar Company is about 2 miles that way.
Okay.
And they have a tour. I've gone through the VIP tour, actually. And the place, they just go through barrels of Titebond 2. It's all they use pretty much. So if it's good enough for them, I'm not a huge Martin fan, but they are well built and everything. I just like Taylor's the way they play better. But the Martin guitars are gorgeous, and they use nothing but Titebond 2.
Well, you'll be able to control how well this Martin plays if you're building it, so you can make it play just as well as a Taylor.
Hopefully. Well, I don't want to get this to be a guitar thing because it's a model airplane thing, but very few people are on right now. The reason I don't know if you studied or not, the reason tailors are easier to play. It's because of the way the neck is attached to the body.
Yeah,
It's
I
got
know
a,
they have that
it's got a little
unique.
chute that goes down into a block and in the set, the soundboard, and it's bolted there. So it takes the pressure off the joint fret, so you don't get that little kick at the joint fret, which causes you to have to set the action up higher. So you can set the action up on tailors really, really low, and they're very easy to play. That's why I play them.
Have you ever
I
played
have a left hand
Larrabee?
issue.
Have you ever played a Larrabee?
No.
That's I at one point, I don't know, I was probably up to over 20 different guitars at one point, maybe 7 or 8 amplifiers, and I sold everything but one acoustic guitar, one electric guitar, and one amplifier.
Hmm.
And the acoustic guitar I kept is Larrabee. It's like a Canadian Taylor. They use similar CNC, automated stuff. It isn't a bolt-on neck, it's a dovetail neck, but it's just a basic, rosewood and Sitka spruce,
Sickest rooftop. Mhm.
kind of a mid-size. It's not as big as a full dreadnought, but hey, look at that jumbo in the middle there. What's that?
What
12
did I
string?
do with that? Oh, went away. Hold on. I don't know what happened to it. Huh. Hold on, I'll reload it. Uh, okay.
There it is.
Just to go
Yeah,
over.
12 string jumbo. What's that?
That's a 12 string.
Leo
It's an
Kachi?
800 series 12 string. I don't have that anymore here. But the one on the left is a 516 CE with the expression system on board. And the one at the far right is my favorite guitar. I love to, it's a finger picking guitar. That's a 2011 Spring Limited, all mahogany, very compressed sound. It's a short scale 24 fret neck, a short scale with the ebony fretboard, Gotoa tuners. It's an exquisite guitar. It's $4,000 guitar.
I only own that one Taylor, and they still send me those quarterly magazines or whatever. I still
Yeah, it's a
get,
good magazine. Wood and Steel. Yeah,
yeah,
good magazine. Anyway, that's my arsenal.
right on.
I used to play a Martin D18 years ago, and I played out. I played lead guitar for a girl singer. We did mostly torchy kind of songs, and I played a D18. That was a nice guitar too, but it was again more difficult to play than the Taylor. So anyway, well, let's see if I can find that thing that shows you how I'm building guitars. Yeah, I gotta.
I'd like to build a violin, actually,
Yeah,
but I'd have to get somebody to play it for me to see
let's
if
see
it'll
if I
work
can
good.
load a couple of these things up here and show you what I did.
Dan McEntee was telling me that there's, what I was just getting involved in this last summer, that there's a number of people, because I mentioned to him that I was interested in guitars, and
Oh yeah, well Billy Werwich in particular.
okay, he's a guitar builder or player
He
or
was a
both.
player. He was a studio musician. He played with Gene Pitney and Joe Walsh and
Oh, really?
George Benson and Bill Doggett. And he toured with Tiny Tim. He was Tiny Tim's lead guitar player.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't it true, Bob, that many of the top pilots in our PA competition are musicians?
What's that?
Isn't it true that many of the top pilots in PA are musicians?
Well, some are. I mean, Jim Aaron, he's not a top pilot, but he's a really good builder and a good pilot. He was a trumpet player, and Dave Sabon, I think, was first trumpet in the some Philharmonic orchestra in the Southwest. Jimmy,
Uncle Jimmy played the trombone.
yeah, and Jimmy Casal was, it still is, a phenomenal musician.
Yeah.
Well, let me
Something
see.
that,
Here's what I did. Is that
yep.
sharing now?
Yeah, we see it.
Is that the lost full method for guitars?
Well, this kind of in reverse order. This is making a mold to build the guitar body in.
Yeah.
And so you can see where I cut it out of foam. I lined it with 1/32 inch plywood and then I put plywood caps over it. This is a reverse order, so.
Did you make radius dishes for the top and the back, for the top and the back as well?
Do I make what now?
Radius dishes? You know,
Radius dishes. I never heard that term.
when
That's so
you're,
you don't have a flat box, so you get the
yeah, when
arch.
you're building when you're bracing the top and the back,
Mm-hmm.
set them in a big concave dish,
Mm-hmm.
and you have the same concavity on the bracing, and when you what a go deck
I haven't
is?
got that far yet. I don't think the books I've been reading don't call it that, but it's probably the same thing, you know. Um, let's see. Here's uh, that's the raw foam having been cut, and then
We just lost your share.
yeah, I turned it off. Uh, I should be sharing a different photo.
You gotta have,
You get the idea, you know,
Yeah.
what I was doing. It's coming along. I got the next pretty well ready to carve. I got I made all my own tooling. Well, I shouldn't say I made all my own tooling. Jeff Traxler, who's a very accomplished flyer and a luthier, he came in and visited for several days, and we made up all our own tooling to do these things, you know. And tooling is where it's at, you know, obviously.
Right.
That's
Where
the
did you
main
buy
part of
where
it.
did you buy the wood?
Well, a lot of it was from the Martin Guitar Company. They have a place where you can buy luthier materials,
Okay.
and it's like a mile and a half from my house.
Right.
So
You could actually just buy a kit from them, I guess. That might take some of
you
the.
can, but I prefer. The only thing I bought was the fretboard, obviously. You know,
Yep.
everything else I'm building myself. So anyway, that's what you know.
So your back is why you're not going to be able to fly anymore?
Yeah, my legs. It's not so, well. It's not so much my back. My back hurts too. I have scoliosis, herniated disc, disintegrating disc, and I have stenosis. And right now, it's the stenosis, and it's causing the main part of the problem. That's where the nerves pass through your hip bone down to your legs, and
Yeah,
that opening is closing and closing and closing, and it's pinching those nerves constantly, and it's inoperable. So the doctor told me in 2015 I'd be in a wheelchair by 2020, and I almost got it beat by 10 years. So it's all right. It's what it is.
well, it was great while it lasted, right?
Huh?
It was great while it lasted, though.
Listen, I had plenty of fun. I'm not complaining at all.
What's that, Sparky?
this is the best marking pencil out there. It's an 1/8 inch. It's a mechanical pencil.
And if anybody breaks in, you could stab them in the heart too.
Yeah. It's
That
a
looks
good
like a
marking
weapon.
pencil.
Is it Pika? Oh,
PICA. It's got an 1/8 inch lead in it. You can get leads in red, white, black.
every time I try and use lead on balsa, it just seems like it dents it more than it writes on it.
That's because it's probably a 6B pencil.
Too
or-
hard,
or
too hard of a.
2H pencil, yeah. You
Okay,
need a 4B or a 6B.
okay.
I think this is 4B. Soft.
Let's see.
Where's Gary at tonight?
Now I'm sure he'll be along. Let me look at the chat.
He said something in YouTube.
I have a hard time looking at YouTube, but yeah, and there's a lot of people saying stuff here. It says Nunya says, "Hi fellas." And always fun to watch. Hope you all have a good turkey day. Yeah, we did. Thomas Newton, hello. Nunya, local fishing pier at Port John's till some dingus tossed one in the lake, or whatever that's talking about. Hi, everyone. Like Given from Wayne Rice. Tony Nell says, hi, everyone. Like Given. And Gary Sinclair says, we have company, so I'll be watching tonight, like provided. And then Tony Dallas says, I've been looking online for a bell crank and found some, but didn't like the design. Rodak has some, but didn't like what I saw also. Any suggestions? Not really. You got any suggestions, Bob?
What's that? I'm busy sending stuff to Steve here.
Bell crank. Guys looking for bell cranks.
What didn't he like about the Brodeck? Aren't those kind of just like the standard sport flying bell cranks?
Yeah.
Is Tony Dallas the guy that was working on a twister, if I remember right?
Yeah, 4-inch Brodak bell crank. There ain't nothing wrong with it.
Right.
That guy at Eliminator Props has those carbon bell cranks.
Yeah, but there's a problem with those. That's a Mike Pratt design,
Okay.
and I think it's meant to be put in reverse. Now, if you don't mind having the upline on the front, no problem.
You should be starting to receive stuff there, Steve.
I didn't have my email open. I was just gonna let her eat in the background there. Let's see. Yeah, oh yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, there'll be a bunch more coming here. I mean, some of it may be, I don't know if it's dated or not, but it's my way of doing things. It's more than one way of doing this, obviously.
Right.
So I'm not trying to say that all this stuff is the only way to do it. It's the way I do it,
Well, I took your way of doing things and made a torque box fuselage.
How'd you like it?
Well, this piece of wood on top of this, let me show you.
7 grams.
Yep, 7 grams.
I could tell just by looking. You can see clearly. It's 7 grams.
No, that's what it was. You must have watched the video.
I saw the start of that one video. Yeah.
Okay, so the back half of this fuselage here is not the side. It's a top and a bottom with 3 formers in it. And I just slid it in and tacked it on the center line. And it's perfectly straight. And boy, is it stiff.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, it looks like that's never going to twist.
No, and like I say, the name of the video was Torque Box Fuselage.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it that way from now on. I think 7 grams is well worth the sacrifice. It's probably 2 or 3 grams heavier than I normally do it, but what are you going to do? I'd rather do it that way than have a former every inch like somebody I know.
Yeah, I know that guy too.
I think I know that guy, yeah.
Well, you know the old saying, if a little bit is good, a whole lot more is better, and too much is perfect.
Yeah.
I was like modifying the kit or design so it survive a crash better, and then complaining that it's too heavy and doesn't fly very good.
Yeah. A lot of guys designed to crash, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And consequently, they crash a lot.
Yep.
It's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Was it you, Bob, that told me that when you crash a proper PA ship, it turns to dust?
Yep.
I don't know if I said that or not, but I've had it happen. I remember that F-105 I had back in 72, 73.
Yeah.
I was at a contest in Johnsville, New Jersey, at the Johnsville Naval Air Station, right near Willow Grove. And it was March, and it was like a 25-mile-an-hour wind, and nobody was flying. I was down there with Billy Simons. And he always called me Kid. He says, "Kid, leave your airplane in the car." Well, somebody went out there and did half a pattern with a profile, and he was going to win. And I said, I was young and stupid. And I said, well, I'm going to get my airplane. I can do more than that, And Billy said, leave it in the car. Well, the thing was going so fast through the maneuvers, I had to hold on with 2 hands. And I was coming down out of an inside square, and I pulled so hard that the upline broke right at the point where I was turning. Well, it went to instant down elevator, turned the tightest corner you ever saw in your life, went straight in, and all the parts, when it hit, it just exploded, and all the parts bounced into the air, and they were about 15 feet apart, but they still look in the proper orientation of an airplane. It looked like this surreal airplane just for an instant, and then it just disintegrated into the wind, you know.
Oh, geez.
And later on, a kid comes up to me, and he has the crushed nose cone of the Vico 2-inch needle. He says, "Mister, are you the guy that crashed that airplane?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You know where the nose cone of this thing is?" And Billy Simons gave me, I told you so's all the way home. And that wasn't the only day that happened that he gave me, I told you so's all the way home.
It's spread out anyway.
Remember
Fucking stupid.
that first Dick Williams,
Electra?
Electra that I brought to VSC?
Mm-hmm.
You ever hear how that ended?
No.
I went to the Golden State Championships with it, and I was putting a practice flight up right before the contest started,
Yeah.
and I lost my upline. I was doing the outside square, and as I turned it down, the upline broke,
Oh boy.
and it literally, it was like a cloud of confetti flew up from the crash site. Yeah.
Were these
Never
built
got-
on asphalt, these crashes?
No, that was on the infield of a baseball diamond.
They don't, when they hit on asphalt and they come in at speed, there's nothing left.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
couple of years ago, I didn't go to the National 2 years ago. Or was it 3 years ago? 3 years ago. And my buddy Joel Costantino went. And he crashed his Pattern Master. The 83-ounce Pattern Master went straight in. Now, I was here in Stockertown, 700 miles away, and I felt the thing hit. So the next year I'm out there, and he says, "Hey, come on, Bob, I want to show you something." I said, "What? Come on out here in the center, right in the center of the circle, middle of nowhere." And he points out, he says, "See that? It was like this little dent in the runway." He said, "That's where the Pattern Master went in."
I had a big dent out in the Booter Park runway where I put an RC airplane in straight.
I'm proud of that dent.
Have you guys ever crashed hard enough to break a wheel?
No.
I did that.
Well, you get the prize.
Yeah, I broke a wheel. But you can come from a little higher up with an RC airplane when you hit, so you get more speed up.
Yeah, I know about that. I flew it. I probably can still fly RC. I flew RC Pattern at the Nats level for several years. And I think I'm about going back and flying some RC Pattern again. But I want to fly the ballistic pattern, the old man's pattern, the one maneuver per pass,
Yeah,
that's how I learned.
where you don't need the $4,000 carbon European
Yeah.
rotating.
Yeah, you do one pass and go out half a mile and do a split S and come back and do another pass.
I have a partially built airplane's called a Daddy Rabbit.
Oh, yeah.
That
Yeah,
was
sure.
first.
A Whittle's airplane?
I forget who designed the damn thing, but it
Who
looks
designed
kind of
that?
like a chaos looking type.
Not Whittle. I know the guy who designed that. I can't think of his name.
Norm Whittle?
No, not it's something like Whittle, but it's not Norm Whittle. I forgot his name. Yeah, I used to fly EU-1As and XLTs and Hippo Tippos and Tipperaris and Technicians and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think they call it the Senior Pattern Association or
Senior
something.
Pattern. Yeah, well, that's one name for it. They also have the Ballistic Pattern Association, and they're trying to bring all the rules together. So, if you have an airplane, you can fly at any of those events.
Jim Whitley.
Jim Whitley. I knew it was like a Whittle sounding thing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm waiting for Dennis to finish up his geezer pattern.
Is what?
Yeah. You know,
What Sparky, is that a solid block of wood that you've got sitting on there now?
It is now.
You're not going to do the molded?
No. And the reason being is it's too tight a turn up here. I mean, I could do it. I'm just not going to monkey with it. I molded that one piece and it just doesn't look right.
Have you used that magic piece of wood from Schaefer's yet?
I'm using it right now.
Okay.
I got another thing here to show. Just this was kind of for Steve, but John too. John's a musician. This is me playing at an open mic.
You got to beat the women off with a stick when you go play out like that.
No, they beat me with a stick. But you can see I have the thumb pick on some Travis picking there.
Right.
So, yeah, it's fun.
I'm like old Cunningham. I tell people when I play with the group I play with, they ask me, what do you get paid? I said, well, I'm only in it for the women and the money.
Actually, I got to. You know who Glenn Metter is, don't you?
I've heard the name.
Yeah, he's a stunt flyer from back in the 70s,
Yeah.
early 80s.
I
His
thought it was
brother
me
Neil.
though.
His brother Neil is a heck of a piano player and a organ player, keyboard player. And he was actually one of the guys listed on the patent for the synthesizer, the original Moog type synthesizers. He imagined the house he lives in.
Oh,
He
yeah.
got name on a lot of patents. And I went over to his house to jam with him. And of course, he has this stuff where they do all he plays in a progression, and then he puts in, like a harmony and whatever he wants in there, drums and everything.
Yeah.
And he play lead over it. And so he asked me to come over and do lead fills. So as soon as I started playing, he said, we got to go out and start doing nursing homes. We get 300. This guy doesn't need $300, like, at all. He said, we get $300 a day for doing that. Cool.
Oh, we do nursing homes, but we do it on a strictly volunteer basis.
Yeah, around here they get paid.
We go to the care center though, they give us lunch. We're playing for our suppers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun.
Had a fun time this last week. There's two of the sweetest little gals you ever saw. I thought they were twins when I first saw them, but actually they're sisters, but one's 2 years older than the other. And they've got a little act, they pass out. They go into the care center there and they pass out all kinds of little things, noisemakers and that for them to play along with them. And so I've been joining with them every once in a while because I'm there having lunch anyway. And so I wanted to do What Shall We Do with the Drunken Sailor? And so that's in starts off in it's in D minor. And so on the harmonica, the D minor is I play an F. Play F, gives me in the D minor.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had a low F because I don't like to play that high up, and so I played a low F, and they says, I think that's too low for the people here. So we wound up doing it a cappella. We had a ball though. We had a good
usually the
time.
high notes that people can't hear.
Yeah.
John, do you sing while you play?
Well,
would be a
there
real
are guys
trick.
that do sing through their harmonica, that they make they'll do noise, sounds.
Sounds
through
like
their
Peter
harmonica.
Frampton.
Pardon?
Sounds like Peter Frampton.
Something like that, yeah.
With the voice box.
Yeah.
Well, I like the guy that plays classical harmonica. He plays William Tell Overture and he plays some Bach and all that. And he does that on a little 10-hole diatomic harmonica, which is almost unbelievable to listen to him play it. He played it at the what's the big thing there in New York or East Coast area? Big school of music.
Oh, the Berkeley or
Yeah, Berkeley
and the Juilliard.
Juilliard.
Yeah, he played at one of those places to a packed house, and it was just they just asked him, if he could play them something. So he took out doing Bach, and Bach blew them off their chairs.
Rick Campbell, right?
I've heard the name.
He's got one advanced this year at the Nats.
Yeah.
He's a Berkeley graduate, theory, and he's a phenomenal blues guitar player. I mean, as good as they get.
Oh,
You know, he went to one of those major schools.
I have tried. I love blues, and I'm not good enough to play it yet. I just can't. But I could do.
You like the majors, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I could do okay. I do okay on bluegrass, country, and older stuff, and some of the contemporary stuff in the 50s, the 60s. But I haven't tried playing any rock.
Get into those minors.
Yeah, yeah,
Rick told me you got to play the late notes and the dark notes too. You know.
yeah, yeah. Well, who's that piano bar player that wrote
Billy Joel.
No. He's a stunt pilot.
Oh.
He played that Stuka Stunt Blues.
Yeah, that was Tommy Niever.
No, and that's
Tommy
not the right
Niever
name.
was a piano bar player.
No, this is Tony Lang.
Oh, Tony Lang. Tony Lang's just up the road from me. I talk to him all the time.
Do you?
Yeah, he's a piano tuner.
Is he now?
I said, Squid, leave me for that piano tuna if you want to try something new. She was the best I ever had. Now my life has no purpose. Oh my God, I love her. Yes, I do. Well, I lobster and never flounder. He wrapped his arms around her and they drove off in his cart. Yes, I lobster and never flounder. I octopus his face in for tearing us apart.
You know, the first time I ever met Tony Lang, I don't know, I may have told this story here before, but he caught me totally unawares, hooked me and reeled me in before I knew what happened. I'm just get to the contest there at Montezuma, and I got my trunk open. I'm starting to take airplanes out, and it's just getting dark. And Tony Lang walks up to me and says, "Hi, how you doing?" You know, we were bright and cheerful. I said, "Well, I'm doing fine. How are you doing?" Now he hooks me and starts hauling me, and he says, "Well, I was doing pretty good till I lost all my money." And I said, "Oh, what happened? How'd you lose all your money?" He said, "Well, I loaned a buddy of mine $10,000 for plastic surgery. Now I don't know what he looks like."
That's Tony.
Yeah.
Remember the Stuka Stunt Blues?
Oh yeah.
That was great.
I watched him. He came to VSC one year, and he flew in. He didn't have an airplane. He went to the hobby shop, bought a Sterling
Ringmaster.
Ringmaster kit.
Built
He
it
built it
overnight.
in his room in a couple of days before the contest started, and actually flew that thing at the contest.
I remember
I
that.
got his room the next year, and you could still smell the dope in there.
He is original.
He is.
He sounds pretty good. He's living up here in Williamsport, which is just west of me.
Is he still flying or?
I think he's trying to build some stuff. Yeah. He's getting up there in age, you know.
Yeah, we all are.
Speak for yourself.
He probably wouldn't remember me, but if you see him, just give him a hi for me.
Well, you want his phone number and call him?
No, I don't know him that well. I just,
Oh, he'd be happy to hear from anybody, you know.
Yeah.
He's kind of lonely, I think.
Well, just you got my email. Just email me his
put it
phone
in the
number.
chat box, and you can.
All right.
Um,
Yeah, he's a character, and
sure is.
fast on his feet with his wit.
He is. He's a very colorful character.
Yeah. I wonder if he's still got any copies of Stunt Blues.
I thought I had it. Now I can't find it. Tony. Oh,
Get your mail yet, Len?
There's no mail here, Sparky. I won't be getting anything until this strike's over. It's probably not going to be till after Christmas.
Holy shit.
Might be 2026 before they get their mail.
Oh, don't go there. I
they'll
don't
have
want
to-
it to be that long.
Then it'll take a pickup truck or an 18-wheeler for some people to deliver the mail. It'll take them a while to maybe 3 or 4 years to catch up.
I sent him 2 Super Tiger 60 cylinder liners.
And
Oh,
I have
no.
They're stuck in the mail somewhere between here and your place.
Yeah.
And
So-
It's a mess.
US mail only tracked it as far as Chicago. I guess
Yeah.
I guess it crosses the border there in Windsor, right?
That's where it would cross, probably. I got something I want to show you guys when you get a minute.
Yeah. Well, I've got a minute.
I took a 13-year-old park flyer, RC, okay?
Yeah.
And I've had this thing a long time. And I thought, hey, if they can make park flyers for RC, why couldn't they make the same park flyers for control line?
It can.
So what I did is I put a bell crank on the bottom of it and a set of lead outs and made a control line model out of it.
Mhm.
There you go.
It's got throttle and everything.
Yeah.
Made myself up a set of 8-pound test Spectra 25-foot lines. And I'm just dying to fly this thing.
There's a
Wonder
guy who makes those little flat foamies for RC who has just started making a little control line stunt one with flaps and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it took me probably an hour and a half to make this. But I mean, there's no reason they couldn't be selling both control line ones
Recognize
and
this,
RC
Bob?
ones.
Yeah.
You
Now,
know,
whether I
it's not enough of a market for them to bother. They're selling so many to the radio control crowd that
You recognize
Well,
this, Bob?
that
yes,
may
that's
be.
a
I
Park
don't
Cat
know.
Yeah.
Wing. Remember that well?
It's just that they could sell them cheaper for starters. You really don't need a radio. All you need is a motor, a switch, and you know, you just plug the battery into it and turn on the switch and away you go.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, I think it would be great, but I don't think they'll do it.
No, I don't think so either, but it might be worth talking to somebody about it anyway, and I may look into that.
So Sparky and John were here, I think, but were either of you two guys here the night that Mike Lonke and Dennis Adamison were talking about that Flash? I guess Mike bought one, you know, the electric airplane.
Yeah, that's the one I think that, yeah, has the flaps and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice little airplane. There's a
Yeah.
video of doing the whole pattern.
I guess the
Oh, wow.
power system as specified from them is kind of lackluster, and that was what Mike Lonke ordered a kit, and Denny sent him, you know, motor speedo battery so that it would fly. It doesn't fly long enough to fly the whole pattern, supposedly. And in any kind of wind, it's kind of marginal. So
Yeah, I think that's the deal with this too. It wouldn't be any good in any wind at all, like zero.
Fly in your front room.
It's hard to do
What's
the
that?
overheads.
Fly it in your front room.
yeah,
I probably could, but I I don't have enough room in the front room.
Bob, my mind's a blank. What's everybody's name there that you know, I did that set of plans for.
there it is.
There it is. All right. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
You can lay on your back and do the whole pattern over your head.
Wow.
It
How does
flies
it do in
really
the
well.
wind, Bob?
Huh?
How does it do in the wind?
Now, it's not great in the wind. It's perfect in dead calm, but not. You can fly up to maybe 2 or 3 mile an hour, but that's it.
Okay.
It's good for indoor, and it's good for dead calm.
Okay.
We fly in the backyard. I got a 70-foot circle in the backyard. We can fly half a size airplanes, so we fly back.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, it flies good.
Dick
I'm flying
Sarpolis, what's he doing now? Has he got everything going along okay?
Who's that?
Dick Sarpolis?
Oh, Sopolis. He's supposed to come up for lunch one of these days soon. His wife has got Parkinson's disease real bad, so she's in a home. He sold his house and moved into a smaller place, sold all his hot rods. He has a whole bunch of hot rods,
Yeah.
57s, and he's kept his Corvette and sold all his airplanes. And I guess his blowtorches. I don't know if you knew or not, but he's like the world's foremost authority on antique blowtorches. If you go on Amazon and search for blowtorch book, it's his.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But he seems to be doing okay. Sounds good. He's in his mid 80s, I would guess.
No,
Yeah.
my mom and dad bought me the Dick Sarpolis Learning to Fly RC videotape when I was, how old would I have been? 11 years old, maybe.
Yeah.
And that was what got me going.
I was in a club with him since the 50s, early 50s. I was in the same club, Union Club. Him and Red Reinhardt, Larry Scorinzi. And,
Well, he's going to be having a Foamy ducted fan
Mhm.
published here pretty soon. And
You do the plans for it?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I sent him to you, didn't I?
Yes. Yeah, I believe it's either you or him, but I did get the plans.
Yeah, I think I'd mentioned you to him and then got you guys in touch
Yeah,
with him.
yeah, you got me in touch with him. Yes.
He's a good guy. Great guy.
You know, Bob, there was one guy that I always wanted to ask you about, and I just remembered. Bob Daly.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us about him?
Well, I didn't know Bob. I mean, that was a Cleveland area, I guess, or Detroit area. He was the first guy to make an I-beamer and design the way to make an I-beamer and an airplane called Nuts and Bolts, which was the very first I-beam airplane.
Oh,
And you have that. You know, I told you you can put that I-beam video up on YouTube. The first part of that, the very first image that comes up is Bob Daly. It's devoted to him. It's, it's dedicated.
Another guy to tell us about is that Typod guy, the guy who's a painter.
The who?
The painter, the fine arts pilot painter.
Oh, Keith Ferris.
No, I thought it was Typod or something.
Oh, Don Typon. Oh, yeah. We did a video together too. That one on the how to paint pilot figures. It was
How are
good
you
friend.
gonna control the throttle?
Huh?
same as you did with your Mustang. Hold on to the radio with one hand and hold on to the handle with the other.
It was a tragic thing about Don Typon. He lived alone. He had a divorce, and he lived alone, and he was retired, and he didn't have that many close friends nearby, and nobody heard from him, and finally his ex-wife decided to go check out because they didn't hear from him. He'd been dead in his house for weeks.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
the
you wonder why
disadvantage
people's
of
story like that, you hope they went quick,
Horrible. He was a good friend.
what was the fellow there in Colorado, the stunt pilot, flew old time. He fell down out by the road. He had a little dog Babe with him.
Oh yeah, Rusty Brown.
Rusty Brown. Yeah, and they didn't find him until the next day. He's froze to death.
My nephew had the same thing. He had a stroke next to his car, just a couple of miles from here. He fell down next to his truck, couldn't get up, and it was winter, and he froze to death. Hypothermia. Horrible.
We had our first snowfall here where I live for the year this last week, and it got cold. The low pressure center came down from the north, and right now outside it's about 27 degrees. So,
Sparky and I are supposed to get our first snow tomorrow.
are you?
They said
We
it's
had
not
20
a lot.
inches north of here, about 8 miles north of here, with 20 inches. We got nothing.
Works that way sometimes.
I can live without it.
Well, the Pocono Mountains start like 2 miles up the road from my house,
Uh-huh.
which was great when you have motorcycles, It's
Yeah.
really good. You go around corners up there and you see a tail light of a bike and it's yours.
I had to think about that one for a second.
And on a Hayabusa, that's not easy to do.
Yeah. I had to quit running motorcycles back in the 80s.
Mhm.
They just got I mean it just got not uncomfortable. I lived where it was too cold most of the time, and all of that, and it just wasn't fun, and I didn't have anybody to ride with, so.
Mm.
My last crash convinced me that motorcycle is no good. Ground's pretty hard still.
You rode quite a bit, didn't you, Sparky?
Every day. Yeah.
Do you have a run-in with a car or just the ground?
The curb. And it was my own stupidity. You know, my dresser had a 103 in it, putting out about 110 horsepower. Thunder header. I mean, it sounded good. We're behind Joe's garage. My club brother, he said, "What will that thing do?" I said, "Well, watch this." And I grabbed a handful of throttle and did a smoke and roll and burnout. And when I come to the end of the street, there was moss in the driveway. And I grabbed the front brake, and out from the, once you get the front wheel skidding, bam, and I fell off, and the bike slid across the street and hit the curb. I did $3,000 worth of damage in about 2 seconds. All the body work was skinned up. Shit, I had to walk around on a broom for about 3 months. That's it.
Yeah,
Mm. Mm, mm, mm.
my last bike wasn't as fancy as yours, Bob, but first day it wasn't a bad bike. It was a 350 Suzuki,
Mhm.
and it was fun to ride,
Hey, they're all fun to ride.
for a street bike,
Yeah. Here's a picture. I just found a picture of Rick Campbell, the guy I told you it's a graduate from Berkeley.
yeah.
And this is at that contest up in Massachusetts. We're sitting there.
Wow.
Ah,
That's the 516, Steve.
Okay.
It's a nice guitar. And he's got that one he's got is what do they call those? Eastman. It's an Eastman guitar. Made in China, but it's really a nice guitar. It's a parlor size guitar.
Mhm.
Everything's made in China.
Huh?
Everything is made in China.
Well, no, not Martins or Taylors.
Right.
When it
Martins are made
comes
2 miles from here, and Taylors are made in El Cajon, California.
when it comes to harps,
Home of Jimmy Johnson, the race car driver.
when it comes
You're
to
good there,
harps,
Sparky.
Bob,
You're really got that plane working well.
Yeah.
Is that the Soul engine?
No, this is a master air screw.
Wow, you got that working really well.
I got 3 of them that work like that. The trick to make this plane work well is this thing takes off about, I don't know, 2 thousandths per pass.
Yeah. Yep.
Most people they're trying to take off an 1/8 of an inch at a
Oh
pass.
gosh, you got to take off little thin curls.
I bought one of those nice wooden ones from the pre-flight guy. What's his name? Kimball?
Mhm.
Bruce Kimball. Have you guys seen those?
No.
I know the name. Yeah.
Well, a guy gave me on the forum here, he gave me one of the old razor planes, the double-edged razor plane, the metal one.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember they worked great. I can't make the damn thing work, so I just go with this one.
Well, there's a couple of those. I have the Soul engines. I got several of those. Bought a bunch of them so I wouldn't. Oh yeah, that's a good one. I bought a bunch of them so I would never run out of them. And I bought like packages and packages and packages of the blades because you had to use their blade, thinking that, they went out of business and thinking I wasn't going to have razor plane blades. Well, I've had one blade in there for literally 5 years.
Yeah, and they last forever if it's a good blade.
And then you flip them over, you get another 5 years. So
Yeah, that's
if I
right.
live long enough to use up all those packages of blades, you can call me Methuselah. You know?
Well, you're talking about that, and I tell these guys I need a new piece of sandpaper. This is my 24 grit piece of sandpaper for shaping. This piece of sandpaper is over 20 years old.
Wow.
It will last a lifetime. Just one piece of paper.
Wow.
What
it's
highway to
what
steal
do
it
they call
off
that?
of at 24
Is that
grit?
the same consistency as street? At the
Yeah, you
street?
just grind it on the asphalt
Yeah,
outside.
just-
Well, you want to use pretty coarse sandpaper for shaping.
I use like 80 grit and go down.
Just take a piece of asphalt, does the same thing.
Yeah.
That's
I'm like you.
Right off the
All right,
road.
it just takes too long.
Has anybody ever played with the permagrit stuff? Permagrit
Oh,
sand?
yeah. I
Oh,
got
yeah.
Tons
Oh,
of
yeah.
permagrit.
Okay.
Love it.
They
Tons.
sell it over at Wix. I was thinking about looking at some.
It's
It's a
wonderful.
good investment.
It's expensive, but it's really worth it. I got
But-
a long 24-inch block has 2 different grits of tungsten on either side. I got the kit that has all the different shapes and stuff. I got the needle files. I got the abrasive. I got everything. Because
Well,
I
as you're trying to-
when I was at Flying Model or Model Aviation, I did a review for the guy who was selling it at the time with Bob Violet Models.
Okay.
And he sent me like $800 worth of permagrit. When I got done, I said, "Where do you want this sent?" He said, "Just keep it."
Bob Violet, he
Wow,
has
that's
plenty of
awesome.
money. He
As
doesn't
long
need
as you
to
don't try to sand epoxy,
Yeah, you
because
can
that'll
load it
load
up.
up and it's hard to get it out of there.
Yeah,
It'll last forever.
wonderful stuff.
It took me a while to find out where to buy it because I didn't think about Wix.
Who's selling it now? I
Buying it
don't even
from
know who's
England.
selling it now.
McMaster Car,
Oh,
Wix,
are they? Okay.
Wix, and Aircraft Spruce are the 3 dealers I found.
The only problem with McMaster Car is, and my problem is, my computer is upstairs. I'm upstairs at a bi-level, and
They
and
got pricing like Brodak.
my shop's downstairs. So the problem I have is when I make an order to McMaster Car, and I hit the send button, the doorbell rings, and I got to run down and get the order. It's about that fast. It's never been more than one day.
Wow.
And this is back years ago before we had, Amazon and things. They really deliver fast.
Well, my last permagrit I bought out of England because that was the only place I could find. That's where it's made, I
Yeah,
presume.
it's an English product. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I got it and I'm tickled to death, but now I want to get some of the shaped ones, the various diameter round ones. And a couple different grits on flat ones. You used to have one that was only about 12 inches long. And like you said, Bob, it was like 180 grit on one side and 300 grit on the other, or something like that,
Yeah.
and it worked. It was just so nice because you just flip it around, go from, coarse to fine.
You
I
know
use
what,
it for trimming
Bob?
up edges and things.
I was reading in the book, Bob, about Billy having a USA 1 in 69 or 70
Yeah.
that had a swept forward trailing edge.
Yep.
And he hated. Why did he hate it?
USA 1 had a swept forward trailing edge in 1980.
80, okay.
Yeah.
And he didn't like it. How come?
I don't know. I flew it. Actually, I used it to train the judges at a team selection one year, and I loved it.
Wow.
Billy's a funny guy. He has his own taste. Everybody has their own trimming taste. I love that airplane. So, yeah, that's a permagrit bar.
What grit do you use for your push stick there?
Probably 100. That's the job.
Yeah, I told everybody that gets me a gift, I told them I want a Wix gift card so I can buy some of that stuff from Wix.
Yeah,
Got to
good.
rebuild my two-wheel.
Permagrit stuff. You should really load up on it. We have this kit that rolls out, and it's got every conceivable shape, rounds and diamonds and flats and everything else, and it's wonderful.
You need to start
that.
breeding gerbils, Sparky. You got bedding for them there and everything already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I see
nothing
so
like
many guys struggle with planing. It's just unreal.
Is that stuff carved as nice as you'd expect? That piece of wood?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What airplane is this, Sparky?
Gonna be a jet looking airplane.
You're not calling it Carumba XL anymore?
It's a GLA,
Yeah.
a jet-looking airplane.
Did you fly your twister, Len?
I haven't flown anything lately except half A. I fly half A every day just to get a flight.
Wait
I
a
go
minute,
up
how
behind my
Canadians say that? Did they say half A or half A?
half
Half
A, eh?
Half A?
I've now flown for, let's
Actually,
see
it's half
here.
A, A.
I've now flown 81 days in a row.
Wow.
You've heard the story of how they named Canada, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, when they decided to form it as a Commonwealth, they didn't know what to name it, so they got everybody, all 274 people that were in Canada at that time. This is way back. They got them all together in a room and they said, okay, we're going to name this country. And so what do we know? You know, well, we'll throw all the letters of the alphabet into this hat and we'll just draw them out. And so the guy is up there, he reaches in, he pulls out, says, C, eh? N, eh?
GA. You're a good sport, Len.
Yeah,
Ah, it's
he
all
knows
in
we
good
love him.
fun. It's all in good fun.
Hey,
Steve,
Well, Steve, I understand I sent you a bunch of manuals by mistake.
Well, I already had it.
I thought you were the other Steve, so I said he didn't get them. And I
Oh,
resent them
no,
to
I
you.
need to forward it to him, huh?
No, he
I already did that. I took care of it.
sent them to me. No need to
Okay.
forward.
We need less. We need less Steve Smith. When do you have to leave?
I have a feeling I know how that vote would go.
no, we need more. We'll take 10 of them if we can get them.
That's true.
There you go.
We need more guys like you guys.
Did you hear, Bob, that Steve has found out what the meaning of finish starts with the first piece of wood cut?
Yeah, you found that out.
Yeah, I learned it the hard way,
How's that?
making lots of mistakes early on and not being able to correct them at the point I'm at.
doesn't that just suck?
Mm-hmm.
What
The
kind
next,
of
the
mistakes?
next one will be better.
You know what? Yeah, that's it. It's the learning curve of building model airplanes. It's a
Yeah.
tough
No way
curve,
through it,
let
but
me
through
tell
it.
you. I learn something on every airplane I build, even today. I learn more.
Oh, I
I learn
bet,
more. I
yeah.
learn more.
I like it when you do a Homer Simpson after having built for 50 some odd or 60, in my case, almost 70
Yeah.
years. You know,
Don't.
yeah, oh, I wanted to
Just
think
make
of that
sure you
50
don't,
years
just
ago.
make sure you don't have a bottle of CA in your hand when you do
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah, don't
Right.
do that.
All right, I'm going to ask Bob the same question I've asked him several times, and I've
Uh-oh,
never
here we go.
written it down.
I hope this isn't about my rounds.
No, I'm going to write this down. No, that wouldn't be a question anyway. All right, I have to put a 28-26 in the crossfire because the front of the fuselage is too narrow for a 35 millimeter.
How much is it missed by?
A lot. It's
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, Bob and I
I
tried
got one
to.
in mind, and mine's built right off the plans. I got one in mind. I got a 35 in mind.
this is built exactly to the plans.
Hmm.
And it's just too narrow.
Mine was like a 64th of an inch on either side.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
if
Go ahead.
now did you
28,
put
26, what?
well, that's the first question. Which
KV.
which KV do I need to get?
Let's
And
work
what
backwards.
battery?
Well, do you have batteries yet?
No.
Okay, so I would recommend for that like a 5S 2800.
5S
Hit 'em, and actually
2800.
they're on sale today. So
I know.
5S 2800s.
That's going to be big
Thunder
enough
power.
for a 6-minute flight.
That's what I have on my crossfire.
Okay, but you got a
I'm
35.
spinning a 35 15 710.
Okay.
All right, so what you really want is something about 8 850 to 870 kV to really
You're
optimize
gonna have
that
to make
content.
the same wattage to fly it, no matter what motor you're using.
Mm.
Watts or
It's a
watts.
I
battery
thought you,
thing.
and again, I didn't write it down, but I thought originally you had told me the smaller KV one.
Lower kV. If you're going to run a 6S battery, you want something around 700 to 720 kV, 780 kV. 800 to 870 nominally is a 5S motor, is what I've been taught. I'm sure that's not totally accurate, but that's what works for me. And anything up over 900, close to 1,000, is a 4S motor.
Yeah, that's what I got
Mhm.
is a
4S will
960.
work. I mean, you get a 4S 3300 or something. But I like the idea of going with the 870 kV and a 5S 2800.
Yeah, that's what you need, Steve. That's what I had in mind.
Yeah, that's a nice
870
combination.
kV. Okay.
Yeah, that works good.
And the 2800 is enough.
Yeah.
Don't have to go to 3000.
No.
Okay. All right. Well,
Buy them
I
Thunder Power batteries. They're only $100 a piece.
No, they're less than that.
no, they're on sale now.
Now they're what they
Where's
should
this? Is
cost.
this Thunder Power?
That's what they should cost, is what they're selling them for now.
I never paid $100 for a battery in my life.
Is this
Actually, I
sale
like
through
the
Thunder
idea.
Power?
Huh?
The sale, is it Thunder Power?
Yeah.
I like the idea of
Okay.
the 18650s.
How long is that sale on till?
Yeah, the Li ions, that's the way I'm going, is to start making my own batteries. We got the welder, we got the spot welder, and I got the balancing connectors and things. We're going to start making our own over the winter.
What
Li
capacity
ion,
are
not
those
poly.
cells?
Yeah, I like them better.
What capacity are the 18650s? I know they don't come.
I got 2600s, 2600 cells. They're fine. I mean, I also have some 28s, but I'm flying the 2600s, running 2 motors in my twins, 1 battery. Works great. 6S 2600.
Is it actually the Thunder Power website or is it somewhere else?
Should be on Thunder Power website. I
They're-
think somebody put a link, I think, today on Stunt Hangar.
Oh, well, this
It's
one's
over
out of
on-
stock anyway.
Consider that the universe taking care of you.
Does anyone know how long this sale is on till?
Midnight.
Yeah,
Midnight.
Valid till 2020, 12/2/24.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, okay.
12/2/24 valid.
Pretty good.
Okay.
Hello, Joe. I haven't seen you in a while.
Good to see you, my friend.
In what, 24 hours?
I talked to you. I didn't see you. Shoot. Went out and flew today a little bit. Actually, I flew gliders a lot. Flew the Nobler once.
How often do you fly your full-size chipmunk?
I haven't flown the Chipmunk in probably 4 months. The engine's suspect, Bobby. I'm nervous about it. It's got when you run it, starts good, runs good. When you shut it down, it's like the cylinders are tight. And some people think it's the cylinders, and some say it's a bearing going bad.
Is that
But
a
there's no
Monasco
metal
or-
in it.
What's in there?
Rolls Royce Gypsy Major.
Oh, Rolls Royce. Okay.
I need to go fly it this week and just go fly it for 2 hours, see if it'll break in. I put new rings in it and honed the cylinders and all that stuff. But I don't know what to do with the silly thing. I fly the RV9 most of all of them. I fly model airplanes more than I do full scale by far anymore.
Yeah, so do we.
Oh, shoot. I lost my first glider today, my little 8-inch shot the rubber band up. I probably flew it 18 or 20 times and getting 45 seconds to a minute, but it got up and it went and it got in a thermal. And
Yep.
Tim says, Joe, you're going to lose that one. So we both started walking and we followed it for right at a quarter mile and got to the fence line. And it was that big and went out of sight. still going.
It's mixed emotions, isn't it? You know,
It was so beautiful, Bob Hunt. It was worth it.
What did it look
was
like?
so
I just
beautiful.
found one in my backyard today. What did it look like?
About this big,
I think that's-
8-inch wingspan, stick
Oh,
fuselage.
that's awesome.
It was
Joe,
great.
some people spend their whole lives trying to do that. Just
It was
once.
so beautiful. I just think,
That's
my
awesome.
gosh, how does it do that? It was beautiful.
That's amazing.
there's another
Good
guy
stuff.
coming on I haven't seen in about 24 hours or so.
Got his plane ready for him yet?
What's that? Oh yeah, he's actually got it home now.
Oh, okay.
There he is. You got home safe, huh?
Who?
Who said he went to Brazil?
You got home safe?
There we go.
He's not awake. Mark, did you get home safe?
Oh, from your house?
Yeah.
4 days ago, just got in.
Okay.
I thought I'd stop by Paul
Tired.
Walker's house
So the
first.
answer would be yes.
I got home safely. Bob, I've been telling everyone about what happened at at lunch at the diner.
Oh, that was funny. Tell these guys.
Well, let's see how they make this rather short. In my Vietnam tour, which is, I don't know, 50 something years ago, I lost maybe half of my hearing. And the VA, starting about 5 years ago, took care of me and gave me these fancy hearing aids with all kinds of controls that I can use for my phone and Bluetooth and all kinds of things. Well, about 3 weeks ago, I put myself in a bad position accidentally inside a concrete bunkered room and a guy firing off an M16. And it took my 50% down to about 15.
Oh, no.
So it's been really difficult and at times honestly depressing.
At times it can be humorous too.
Excuse me?
At times it can be humorous.
Yes. So Sunday was a something I've been going to for a bunch of years. Bob's been going, God knows how many years, to the Garden State Circle Burners flea market swap shop, which was all control line. And it's a bunch of people you don't see. I don't see that often. And secondary, well, not second. Well, yeah, secondary is how much money you make. But first is really, it's just a camaraderie. And I knew Bob was going to be there, and some other people that he and I know. And so maybe I knew half the people there. I don't know. So we went out for lunch after that. And well, I guess I might as well say it since it's part of the story. My son, unfortunately, is addicted to alcohol and drugs, and it's very difficult. It's difficult on everybody who knows and loves him. And I pray that he will find his bottom and come out. But in all those, the diner was mobbed and it was noisy. Now, I thought the food was great, and at the table was Bob's son, Robbie, and Rick Campbell from New England. So it was a great table. And I'm trying to hear what everyone's saying, and Bob says to me something like, "How's your son doing?" Okay. And I said, "Not so good." And he said something like, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to give it back? And I said, "Give it back. It's my son. I'm going to pray." And he said, "You're going to pray?" And I said, "Of course I'm going to pray." So Bob starts laughing. He said, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "Well, Bob, what are you talking about?" He said, "Well, first of all, my question to you was, how was your hamburger?" To which you answered, "Not well." So I suggested you take it back.
And he's
And
munching it down.
Or take it down. And you said you were going to pray. And he said, "I've never heard anyone praying about their hamburger before." So at my expense, which is not unusual, I got to tell you, though, and Bob doesn't know this, I've been pretty down about all this. And that really made me laugh about it and just practice some acceptance. I mean, it's the way it is. It cannot be fixed. I've seen an audiologist and my general practitioner who's an internist, and said there are things there are spin-offs to this that I wasn't prepared for. One of them is my alarm is my phone. I can't hear it without my hearing aids in, and I can't sleep with my hearing aids. So waking up in the morning has been like rolling the dice.
You get to buy you a clock that's got a winder that goes ding, 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 ding.
Exactly.
Ding.
Exactly.
That will wake the dead. That would get you up.
But actually, I thought of a real upside to this. As being president of Pampa, not hearing people is a blessing. Right? So all of a sudden, I have very.
And conversely, when I call you, not having you answer your phone is a blessing.
That's true. That's true. So I'm working around it, and someone suggested to me, and I thought it was a great idea. They said, buy an Apple Watch. And I said, okay, why? Because it has a great alarm system that vibrates. Just leave it on during the night. It'll wake you. Now, that's expensive because I don't have an Apple phone. But there's probably an Android phone. I don't know.
No, there is a deaf watch. People for the deaf, they sell that vibrates to wake you up. It's a deaf alarm clock.
Is that right?
Yes.
Watch.
Oh, there you go. There you go. So I just can't wait for the next time I judge, when someone comes over and questions what I'm doing.
You could say the hamburger was fine.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I thought you might get a laugh out of that. I've told other people and they're dying, but we had a good laugh at the table at my expense, and it's okay.
We had a couple of good laughs at the dinner table here too.
We did. We did. God, if you can't laugh about yourself, you're in trouble.
Mhm.
You're in trouble. But the good news is, I think that Len's wife will be a good president for Pampa.
Yeah,
I think so, yes.
I think we should vote her in right now.
I'm voting for Naomi.
Second,
There's a second,
favor?
third. There you go.
Done.
And
by,
I want to remind all of you that I ran.
Elder the chief, there she is.
Where is she?
by acclamation.
You thought this was model airplanes. It's actually model railroading.
Very good.
When she looks up from her book, let her know she was just elected president of Pampa.
April 1st,
I
which
will.
is actually April
I will
Fool's
do
Day.
that.
Second Tuesday of next week, Lynn.
There you go.
That's funny.
So,
That's awesome.
by the way, though, and maybe I'll show you on screen, Mr. Hunt, who's been just as he calls it, a brother. He's been a very, very close friend for years. And he built me. I can't take any credit for maybe the idea of building an airplane, and he took it from there, and he custom made a Prowler for me. That's right now ready, just almost ready for finishing. It's so close. Everything, all the construction's done. It's beautifully done. And
Beautiful.
it's worth putting up with his humor.
Or lack of.
Almost.
Yeah, no, it is. It is.
It's worth it.
So I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving.
You have the Prowler there?
Yep. Joe, it looks like you just finished eating and you're trying to.
I'm leaning back in my chair.
There you go.
I just tilted up like this.
There you go.
This camera's weird. I don't understand.
Mark,
It follows you.
It follows you.
Mark,
Sure does.
Mark, do you have the Prowler there?
Do I have what?
The Prowler, not the hamburger, the Prowler.
Yes, I'll bring it up.
Okay. He'll come back with a hamburger.
No,
Ketchup and onions.
It was really funny. It was like, how's the hamburger? Well, not good at all. He's munching it down. He's all
When you
frank.
asked him about the Prowler and he didn't answer, I was gonna
Yeah,
say
he
it went right over, Bob. Right over.
He's one
Oh,
of the
boy.
best guys on the planet. We have a lot of fun together. He's one of the best storytellers I've ever heard.
That's what it's all about. If you can't have any fun, why would we do it?
And some of the stuff he tells is maybe not X-rated, but certainly R-rated.
You gotcha.
But funny,
Hey,
always funny.
you've been elected president of Pampa.
Yes, she has.
Bob Hunt, Bob Hunt and John Miller are clapping for you.
Hail to the chief.
So is Mark
Hail to
Weiss.
the chief, yeah.
All right, Bob, you want to talk about it?
It's a prowler.
Here's the
Oh,
prowler.
that looks
Oh,
nice.
that's nice.
What
Good
wing
to know.
area is
Beautiful.
that? What
Knows it.
wing area, Bob? Is that a 420,
Yeah,
430
no,
inch
it's
wing?
more than that. It's closer to 500. It's
Is it
about
close to 500?
485 or something like that.
Much bigger than a Nobler.
There it
That
is.
is nice.
Uh,
Nice shape.
Yeah, I
typical
like
Bob Hunt quality. And it's just beautifully done. The hinging is a work of art.
There's floppy hinges, boy. You know.
Oh my
You know
God.
what's wrong with that? It's his house,
Nothing.
not mine.
Yeah.
It's
And
New-
already
new-
set up,
together.
already set up
Career
for
path for you, Bob.
The thing I was most proud of in building it was making this special dowel. I didn't have a right-sized dowel, so
Oh, yeah.
I actually glued it. I drilled a hole through a dowel and glued it to a piece of music wire and took it to the disc sander and made a custom dowel that fit perfectly in for the tail wheel.
Oh, nice.
It was like a
Beautiful.
colonoscopy.
Who says long tail wheels aren't nice? They are too.
Well, he has a pretty long main gear, so we had to put a long tail
I
wheel.
thought, I thought
I
that
love it.
was a carrier plane.
It's beautifully treated.
He should have fun with that.
And Bob gave me his best 15-pound balsa.
Bless
What you
his
think?
heart.
He's
That's what you think.
saving that 22-pound stuff.
Yeah, I'm calling it the hernia. So,
I dare you.
What did it weigh when we put it on the
dare
scales?
you.
What did it weigh?
I devil dog dare you.
What did it weigh when we put it on the scales, Mark? I think it was
oh,
like 20,
yeah, I
20
can't-
ounces or something.
yeah.
Oh my God.
So thank you, Mr. Bob.
Was it 19 and change? I think it was something like that.
Wow.
I'm jealous. I just put a flight streak together that weighs 20 ounces. It's not half the size of that.
Steve, I hope you brought enough for everybody.
Yep, you guys are all welcome. Emo's Pizza.
Oh, wow.
Everybody grab a piece.
You are what you eat, you know? So,
Yeah, I
I
do.
can't
Better
eat
eat you.
pizza anymore. At least not much.
What's it weigh, Sparky? 4.5?
No. It came down 3/4 of an ounce. When that,
are what you eat.
carbon
Oh, look at that.
That's
Mm.
good dead bird right there.
That is good dead bird. Look at
Good
that.
dead
Oh,
bird
man.
right there.
21-pound turkey.
Man,
so,
oh man.
so I am what I eat.
I'll go with I'll go with the turkey. Somebody, the rest of you guys, you young guys can have the pizza. Whoever's young enough to eat
2815
it.
on 4S 3300 for that bird.
What's that?
Say 2815 with the 4S 3300 for the for that bird.
On that airplane?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that-
2820, 870, you know, with a
Get down.
4S 2800, a 5S 2200, a 5S 2200.
It's short coupled though, so
I made the nose a little longer. I made the tail longer too, so I have room for the battery.
yeah.
Yeah. By the way, for those who fly electric, Thunder Power has their phenomenal sale on now.
We were just talking about that before you came in.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
How was
That's
your
all right.
hamburger?
You know, we all got to get our kickback.
Sontronics is selling glow plugs too.
Who is?
The Sonic people.
What's a
$20
glow?
McDaniels. Sontronic. I think they're $10 for the F or 1019 or something. They're about $5 off, I think.
What's a glow plug?
Yeah, you don't know anymore.
I sure do.
Kind of like a hamburger.
It's like a hamburger. That's right,
Right.
Steve.
That's that little thing that costs as much as one of my batteries.
It cleans your
I'm still
teeth
trying
when
to-
you get done.
I'm still
Clean your
trying to
teeth.
figure out what battery and motor you put in that turkey to make it fly.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking
Big
about.
A big one. A Rojet 67.
That'll do her. You betcha, Joe. You'll make that turkey fly again.
I'll make it go. Some chunk it.
Short, high aspect ratio wings.
Yeah. It's a speed airplane.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have any trouble with line tensions if you ever got it airborne.
Oh
It'd
my!
stay out there.
And my wife made 2 of those this past Thanksgiving.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my
Her
lord!
brother's kind of a shut-in, so we gave him one of them, a smaller one.
Wednesday night, Colleen cooked our turkey. And I sitting in my
Camera's
chair,
not
all
there.
leaned back, watching the football game. And I heard this terrible racket in the kitchen. She starts hollering, Joe, come here, come here. And I jumped out of my hair, hurt my shoulders again. And there's fire and sparks coming out of the oven and the turkey sitting way out. And the element burned in two and sounded like a welder. There was molten metal in the bottom of the oven. I reached up, turned that booger off, but it was already blowed in two. We drove to Lowe's. They didn't have it. Called Home Depot. They didn't. Everybody shows them on their websites, but nobody stocks them, you know. So
Yeah,
they're ended.
man.
They're ended the baking for Thanksgiving. Angie had to make
crap.
the pies,
That's
Oh.
but it really made a lot of noise. It was scary.
It did.
We had our stove blow up like that a few years ago, Joe, and it was only 5 years old.
Well, this will be the third element I'll put in the stove. We've been here since '81 though, so that's a long time.
Right?
Wow.
That's crazy. We had a 5-year-old stove. I guess it was last year, and it blew up. The cost to fix the thing was going to be ridiculous, just absolutely off the charts. We just went out and bought another stove.
I just bought a $12 element.
Now ours wasn't that simple. It blew
It
all
wasn't
the
that easy,
electronics out of it and everything else. It was
Yeah.
wrecked. Couldn't believe it. And the warranty's not worth the paper it's written on.
Oh, everybody talks about their warranty so good. Well,
Baloney.
who's going to come and fix
Bullshit.
it? It's nonsense.
All baloney.
These
This
are
one-
electric stoves, I'm guessing.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mine is.
Yeah, mine too.
Hey, Phil, did you check your email?
I got,
Okay.
I'm trying to make a list of what all I did get, what I didn't get, and then I'll get back to you.
Okay, well, I sent you everything a second time. So there should be, if you check.
I'll go through it. John, I'll go through it tomorrow. I'm at my daughter's in South Carolina, but I've got some time tomorrow. I don't have to be driving. I don't have to be running. I don't have to do anything for anybody. I think my wife and daughter got me down here for a couple, 3 days. So I don't have anything to do for anybody. I can just relax for a few days.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
No, I get it. It's not a problem. I've actually got time to do some things I want to do.
Okay.
So it'll be all right. I'll go through it tomorrow and make a list of what I got. And if I missed anything that I need, I'll give you a call.
Okay,
I'll
well,
give you a call anyway and tell you what I got and what I didn't get.
Well, check your incoming email because I sent a whole bunch out not yesterday, before yesterday.
Yeah, I saw some of them coming in and then got tied up with, I had a little problem with had a nephew this week pass away and it just kind of tore us up
Sorry
pretty
to hear
bad.
that.
Yeah, thank you. It's, he got mauled by his dog.
Oh my God.
And,
Oh, my goodness.
he got mauled by his dog and then some friends pulled the dog off of him, but he died of a massive heart attack.
Oh my God.
My
Oh,
goodness.
36 years old.
Oh,
And the second one in 7 months.
Second son, my older brother's second son in 7 months to die.
Oh,
oh my goodness.
I'm more worried about my brother than anything else.
Yeah, I guess so.
wow.
So, all right, because he's got heart problems. He's got what I've got, but much worse. So he's anyway,
Well-
it's one of those
well,
things.
Don't try to call me before 3:00 my time because I got my first Santa gig tomorrow. So
Cool deal. Well,
I'll be
Merry
doing Santa in
Christmas,
the
Santa.
morning till early afternoon.
You know, that was my favorite part of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. There was several parts that I really liked, but I always loved to see the Rockettes. But Santa was the same Santa they've had for the last several years, and for some reason that really tickled me. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that. Santa is their Santa. And I like
Yeah.
that. That's pretty slick.
Did you know that Gene Schaefer's wife was a rockette?
No, I didn't. I'll be darned.
And she fell off the stage. She had a light that was supposed to be retracted during one of her routines, and she had it and fell off stage and broke her back.
Oh, no.
And she's all right, but she always walked with a pronounced rear end sticking out a little bit. And she's a really pretty girl. And when they were coming back from, probably shouldn't say this on national TV here, but they were coming back from Holland, I guess it was, in 76, and from the World Championships. And Gene was seated by the window. And at that point, he was Big Gene. You know, Gene could go from Big Gene to Little Gene almost at will. And she was sitting in the aisle, and Billy and Les were sitting kind of behind him in the center on a 747. And Gene got up, and Sue didn't want to get up to move. So Gene was kind of trying to wiggle past her. You know, oh no, excuse me. Gene was sitting down, and she tried to get up and get out, and she's trying to wiggle past Gene, and her rear end is sticking out a little bit. And Billy goes so the whole airplane could hear it, the whole area. He says, and the moon jumped over the cow.
Ooh.
And the whole place cracked up.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Billy
Mhm.
Wurwitz has a very interesting sense of humor, but he has a better sense of
She got
timing.
paid for that. You know, there was a lawsuit or something, and she got a lot of money out of it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, dancing was her livelihood, and when they take that away,
Yeah, exactly.
she should have got some money out of it.
Yeah.
How have you been, Bob?
No, not great. I've had some real bad leg issues.
Hamburger was fine.
Huh?
The hamburger was fine.
No, I heard about the hamburger. I was watching on my telephone before my wife fished this thing out of the car. I couldn't find it. She stuck it under the seat. I forget this little car we're driving's got storage spaces everywhere, and she uses every darn one of them.
Gene knew where it was because she loaded it.
You're right.
By the way, Joe, you can't read that, but on there it says, what do you think it says on this notepad? Come on now, use your brain. What were we talking about on the phone?
Batteries, airplanes.
No. It says, send Joe Gilbert a can of Rain
Oh.
Shield.
Yes, rain shield. Please.
Not Rain X.
Can you
Not
still
rain,
get that
rain
stuff?
X. No,
No.
you can't get it.
But
Don't bring
Macmillan
that
and
up
I went
don't
on the
bring that
internet.
up.
Went to the internet and searched years ago, and we found a bunch of cans of it, and we bought them.
Yeah, I bet so.
Don't tell that on
That's the
national
reason I
TV
quit
either.
using solid lines. I can't find that stuff anymore. Anything
It-
that does the
that
job.
stuff works
as well.
good for everything. It cleans regular lines really nice.
It
They're
sure
just
does.
silky slick. Man, they're slick.
I made up some stuff that was 91 alcohol and silicone oil. And you had to get the proportions right, and I can't remember what they are. It seemed like it was 60-40 in favor of the alcohol. But it would clean them real good and make them silky, and it worked.
Yeah.
Or it works because it's what
Yeah.
I'm using.
That Rain
I
Shield
think-
is the only stuff I ever found that worked in real heavy rain on solids. And
Oh, I believe it.
like flying cable.
Yeah, I believe it.
Rain X doesn't work. Rain X does
No,
not.
Rain-X will make them stick together, period.
Oh.
Charlie Reeves was one who showed it to Tommy and I, and we bought a case of it. But, after 10 years, it's all
It
used
goes
up.
away.
Yeah. You don't use it, it loses pressure in the can and goes away. So you might as well use it. But that stuff really worked well, but we've used it all. So if you find anything that does the job, please let us know.
It cost
Not
me.
WD-40?
WD-40.
No.
Yeah, water displacement formula number 40.
Well, that's what it is. WD-40 is water displacement 40. You know what that stuff was designed for?
Aerospace.
Boats.
No,
Automobiles.
Hamburger,
Chevrolet
hamburger
automobiles.
topping.
In the 60s, Chevrolets, in the 60s,
Did I hear
Chevrolets
right?
had a distributor cap that was back at the back of the motor. And it had that little door that you pulled up to set the dwell on the, well, at the same time, that was neat that you could get to it to set the dwell so easy, but it meant it wasn't watertight. Chrysler's was watertight. Ford's was watertight. Chevrolet's had that blame window and it was not watertight. So they came up with that. You'd be going down the road and it starts raining, you get water splashed up in your engine, or especially what really got it going, the guy that developed it had a hot rod. The motor's exposed. It rained, his engine got wet. It wouldn't run. So he come up with this stuff. You just lift a little window and spray a little bit in there. If you got it in before it got totally soaked, and it would run. Otherwise, you stopped and sprayed inside the distributor cap and wiped it out with a rag, and then wiped everything off you could. And usually, not every time, but usually it would go ahead and fire up and run.
You know, there's a video on YouTube how WD-40 was invented, right? That was the 40th try. That's why it's the 40s in it. WD stands for water displacement, but NASA wanted something to displace water because they were, you know, when they were doing the moonshot or whatever, those rockets freeze up, and so everybody started stealing it because it was so good. So that's why they marketed it.
Wow.
It's on YouTube.
It's really good starting fluid, y'all. You can start a motor with it. It's great starter fluid.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't bang and
It's not as explosive.
Better than
not
lighter fluid?
No, but it's good start. You can run an engine on it.
That's
Just
the
keep it running.
propane. That's propane inside the can.
Probably
What
right.
they use for
Aerosol.
propellant.
That's the
I
aerosol.
like Roncinol. Roncinol was my favorite.
Roncinol.
Yeah, Roncinol, you know, lighter fluid for.
Yeah.
Yep.
I used to-
Ronsol.
I had an airplane that wouldn't start without it, winter or summer. We called it the
Oh my goodness.
It was called the Roncinol Special. It was the F-105 Thunder Chief. It wouldn't start without
It
the
was a
Roncinol.
winner.
McCoy
Oh,
Ford,
man.
McCoy 35 or a Fox 35?
And it was the OS H40S.
H40S.
Great
Oh,
running
Lord.
little motor. Very underrated motor.
Isn't
Yep.
that just naphtha?
I don't know
have it.
what's in it for aerosol, but it'll run. I never tried it on two strokes on like lawnmower engines, or you can put it to your 327 Chevy and start it. It'll run on it.
Mhm.
I don't know if it may be naphtha, Steve. I don't know what's in it.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
try
know
it
what's
on
in
an
it, but you're
049
right. It'll
tomorrow.
start a motor. We used to start lawnmowers on it all the time.
Mm.
Cleans guitars pretty well too, actually.
The strings,
Yes.
cleans the
Seriously,
strings.
it is.
Not sure I want to do that.
Dan Earlywine has a video about that trick.
I'll be darned.
Hey, I just Googled WD-40,
Mhm.
and here's a fact that I don't think any of you know. I certainly didn't. That one of the ingredients, tridecane and undecane, are found in stink bug stent glands.
Oh, Lord.
Hey,
How'd you like to have that job?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah,
Here's the Roncinol Special.
yeah. Interesting what it has in there.
Uh-oh.
God,
who
what
is
were you,
that guy
18?
with
Thunder,
all the
Thunder
hair?
Chief. Thunder Chief.
And
That's
skinny.
it.
Oh my
Is that the-
goodness.
That's at the 72 KOI.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
Yeah.
Look at the elevator. Got 60 degrees, Bobby.
Yep. Those Vico horns is why we were able to turn corners so tight back then. We didn't realize it. We had a lot of throw and it got in quick. And then in order to, we could crank the airplane around a corner faster, and we put a little extra nose weight in to stabilize afterwards. And the only downside was a little extra stick pressure in the wind, which was solved by sweeping the trailing edge forward.
Wow. I'm looking at that Woody station wagon in the background.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
I think it's a Mercury.
Mercury,
No,
isn't
that's
it?
a
It is a
Chrysler.
Merc.
That's a
It's got
Chrysler.
drop tanks on it.
That's a Chrysler. I had one like that.
Either
74.
drop tanks or bombs on that airplane.
Yeah, they're drop
72.
tanks. They're simulated
72.
drop tanks. I got to tell you something. I flew that. I put those on there mostly for. I thought for display. I figured I wouldn't fly it with them, and then I took them off for the first flight, and the airplane flew okay, but not up to my expectations. So I said, okay, it's a bomb. I'll just fly it once to see what it looks like with the drop tanks on. Turned into a killer airplane with the drop tanks on.
How about
I'll be
that?
Wow.
Yeah.
With this, what did it do you think? Center of gravity or just stabilize the air?
I think it's drag. I think our airplanes need
Drag.
more drag. And the reason I say I believe that now is because the twins have so much drag because of the prop disc, you know, the huge 20 inches
Yep.
of prop disc. and they come downhill. You know, you can order a pizza, eat it, and get rid of the box by the time you have to pull out the wing over. And I think it's the drag that
It
helps.
may very well be.
Yeah.
May very well be.
You know, the first plane I saw to have a square trailing edge on the elevators and flaps, and I mean just flat square, was on a Skylark that Ed Southwick flew at VSC.
Wow.
And it stunned me so bad. I said, Ed, what gives? And he told me, he said, it's for drag. It creates more drag, slows it down on the way down. And I was sitting there, I mean, who the heck? I don't know much, but I know not to argue with Ed Southwick. So I came home and tried it, and it already works.
The first full scale I know was a Tiger Cat. Grumman did that down there, Tiger Cat.
Yeah.
And square trailing wedges, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty thick.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
The strength goes up a good bit back there.
Yeah.
Do you know that all the Grumman fighters are cats?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Not all of them. Not all of them. There's one.
No, the TBF Avenger was not. Well, of course, that wasn't a fighter. That was a
That
torpedo.
wasn't a fighter.
Yeah.
It was to avenge things.
The Wildcat, the Hellcat, and the Bearcat, the Tiger Cat.
Tiger Cat.
My dad
What
was the chief engineer, the chief troubleshooter at Eastern Aircraft, where they licensed built the FM2 Wildcat and the TBM Avenger.
What was the F-111 called?
The Aardvark.
Aardvark.
No,
Aardvark.
okay, not the 111. Grumman built the first jet. The Angels flew it for a while. I thought
the Tiger.
F-11. It's the
F-11 Tiger.
F-11. Was it Tiger?
I got to see
that
them
plane
fly.
for
I got
many
to see the
years.
Blue Angels fly that airplane at Willow Grove in '65.
They kept that airplane several years after newer planes that were supposed to be the successor were developed, but they didn't like them as well. So they flew that plane for several
I
years.
think I saw them fly it in 67. I have to go back. I think
I
that's
think
right.
I saw it about then.
Anybody know what the first airplane the Blue Angels flew with?
Bearcat. No,
Bearcat.
Hellcat. Hellcat was the first one.
Oh, Hellcat. not a
Hellcat? I
Bearcat.
thought it was the bear. You taught me
Hellcat was
something.
first. Hellcat was first.
I didn't
Butch
know that. That's
Valores.
cool.
Wasn't it Butch Valores was the lead?
Did they have Beetle Bomb before the Bearcat?
I
No,
don't
Beetle
think
Bomb
so.
started
The
with the Bearcat.
solo airplane.
Yeah,
It was also a Reno racer. They raced it at Reno.
Mhm.
Nearly won.
yeah. Well, I know I remember hearing about the Beetle Bomb when I was a kid, and everybody was going around saying, "And here comes Beetle Bomb."
Number,
If
you remember the
anybody's
number
got a
on Beetle
picture of a
Bomb?
Blue Angels Hellcat.
Do you
Do you
remember the
really?
number on Beetle Bomb?
Show us the picture.
0.
Yeah,
Hey, it looks like Junior moved downstairs to his shop.
Back downstairs.
Oh, back downstairs.
Yeah, I just came up to get the pizza and eat it before.
I don't blame you. I went upstairs for pizza too, Steve.
He must be a golfer too. He's got that Titleist hat on.
Yeah.
I don't play much anymore, but I used to be ate up with it.
I tried it, but I'll tell you, I had a bad experience. I was out on the second tee with my friend Fred. Fred had a heart attack and died on the second tee.
Oh, Lord.
no.
Gosh.
All day long it was hit the ball, drag Fred. Hit the ball, drag Fred. You know.
Man.
You're bad.
Oh,
Did
man.
anyone ever hear Robin Williams' routine on how the Scots invented golf?
Yeah,
If you
No,
haven't,
I
you
have
got to
heard
look
that.
that one up. Oh, it is hilarious.
it is.
I got to look that one up then.
I was watching a Robin Williams film. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I really liked it. I watched it the other day. Bicentennial Man.
Oh, yeah.
It's really funny.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen Moscow on the Hudson?
Oh yeah.
No, I missed that one.
Is that a true story?
Genius.
He's a musician in that, a Russian saxophone player.
Sax player. Anybody know who Ry Cooder is?
Yeah, I've heard of Rycoo.
I've heard of it.
And what kind of guitar does he play? What style does he play, Steve?
I don't know. That wasn't me.
Acoustic, I think.
Yeah, well, mostly acoustic. What style? He plays slide guitar only.
Oh,
You know why?
no.
I didn't either, but my son found out and told me why.
He's missing a finger.
He used to fly model airplanes, and he got his hand caught in a prop, and he couldn't do normal.
Oh,
Anyway,
man.
so he had to put on slide and learn how to play slide. He became one of the most famous slide guitarists of all time.
So
I'll
he
be
did
darned.
lose a
Yeah.
finger. He just got it mangled up. Okay.
So to
Bob?
him we say, "You're welcome."
It's funny that you said he played slide. The first picture I pulled up of him, he was younger and he's playing fingers.
Hey, Bob, you think he would run the Nats?
But I think I got somebody.
y'all are
I think I
Y'all are
closed the
bad.
deal on the guy we were talking about.
Island Peter Cooter.
I'm not going to mention his name here because I don't want to blow the deal, but I think we got the guy we were talking about. One of the guys we were talking about. I'll tell you.
Good deal.
That would be reassuring.
I need to speak to myself for just a second here. Steve, oh, he left. Never mind. I'll have to get him when he comes back.
Well, I'm still on the headset. I just walked away from the camera.
What has to happen to take the 2-hour training? Is that an in-person? Does it have to be at a field while flights are going on? Is it a
No, it's a Zoom meeting,
okay?
2-hour Zoom meeting. Just let me know, and we can do it.
You try and group people together, or do you just do one at a
Nah, don't need to.
time?
What are you
I
talking
mean,
about?
I have done a
Training?
couple of groups of 2 or 3, but some of the others have been individuals. So
What are you talking about? For training on the
Judges.
yeah,
guy?
the
Yeah,
Stunt
training,
Judges
yeah.
training that we've developed.
count me in on that. I'd like to do that.
Send
I
me an
do a lot of
email.
judging.
Yeah.
It's good stuff, Steve.
I'm
and-
trying
Yeah, there
to
was
find
a
out-
discussion on Stunt Hangar recently about bottoms.
That's why that what made me.
Yeah, that was read the dang book, all of you.
Yeah, read the dang book. You're right, Joe. Every maneuver is its own thing.
Mhm.
Jiminy Christmas.
There is no establishing, there is no flow. As much as we'd like it, especially pilots would love that concept, it ain't in the book.
I want
Ain't
to
in the
count
rules.
errors. I want to count errors.
Well, that's hard, but yeah, that is the way to do it.
That's the way to do it.
But you not only have to count the errors, but assign
A number to them.
a range to the error. Is it a 1-point error, a 2-point error, a 3-point error?
That's in the book too.
It is. Well, that's in the judge's guide.
That's the book, boys. Figure it out.
Yeah.
That's the book.
And
If you ain't reading
one of the
that,
things
you're
we
wasting your
teach
time.
is that the judge's guide is just a guide.
Right.
It
The
says it's
rules
very,
are separate. The
but the
rules are in
rules doesn't
section
tell you what
11.
the rules do not tell you, Stephen, what to take off for mistakes. They
No,
do
they
not.
don't.
You
No,
have
it's
to have
in
the
the judge's guide.
or it's a waste of time.
Yeah, and I'm not Dave Cook, but I think he and Keith did a good job in a lot of cases.
You bet. That judge's guide is mandatory. If you're not going to
Well,
read it,
it
don't
is.
bother.
Yeah, it's mandatory.
If you're not going to read it,
but-
don't bother judging because you don't know what to take off for. Your
Right.
opinion don't count. Well, you get me wound up on this.
Mhm.
I've read the dang thing lots of times.
I
Tell us
read
what
it
you
too.
really think, Joe. Tell us.
Yep,
I
so
did.
have I.
I read it
referred
too.
to
I
but
just
I've
go
also
fly,
been
I just
told
go
that
fly
I
the
was-
maneuvers.
I don't do
I've
that.
been around-
I just sit around and tell people how good I was.
Right there you
Yeah,
go.
John, you and I are a lot alike in that, buddy. We can sit around for hours and talk about how good we used to be.
Yeah.
Billy
remember-
Warwick told me something once, and it's not in the rule book at all, but there's a difference between the letter of the law and people's emotions and what they feel and what they subliminally how they look at things. Billy told me once, he says it's not 15 separate maneuvers, it's one long maneuver.
One long procession, yeah.
Yeah, and that's not what the rule book says.
No, it could be
If
flown
somebody-
that way.
But if somebody goes out and flies it where everything is the exact same height and everything looks like it's homogeneous to one pattern, it's going to subliminally affect
It's a show.
any judge.
Well, as long as those bottoms are between 3.9, 5.9 feet consistently, yeah. But
I thought that was for the pilot, their bottoms. No,
their bottom,
Boo hiss. Boo hiss.
Some guys got shorter legs than others, you know.
Yeah.
There isn't an ideal
matter.
height. Exactly. It's a,
No, there's not. It's 5 foot plus or minus 1 foot is rule book. 5 foot plus or one. So if you flew a 6 foot level line, the other Steve flew a 4 foot, and I flew a 5 foot and didn't make any mistakes, you should score them all 40s.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
5
if
foot
there were no
plus or minus
mistakes.
a foot. It's all 40s. Now, if you do a 4 foot bottom on a square 8 and 6 foot bottom on a square 8, technically they're supposed to be the same.
Mhm.
But you are plus or minus that 1 foot. There's so many other places you can make up the points to score on, not to worry about that 1 foot difference. So many places to check
Sparky
on.
says you just sand more, and that's where you make it up.
If
If
it were
Sand down
He
the
might
one that's
be right.
high.
One more lower grade of rubbing compound.
that rubbing compound's hard work too. That's hard on your shoulders.
if it were only that simple, Joe, but you know, if is the largest word, 2-letter word in the English vocabulary.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but's the next two.
Yeah.
You know, the best
Yeah,
score I
but-
ever got on level flight was inverted level flight. I actually accidentally came out like 2 feet, or started out at 2 feet. And so I kept it there for the whole 6 lap at 2 feet above ground. I got the best score on that inverted level flight.
I'll say it out loud. Somebody didn't know what they're doing.
That's
Yeah.
right. Those
I'll
judges
say
it.
were
You shouldn't have.
were
I'll say
wrong.
it
I
out
agree
loud.
You
with you.
shouldn't have. That's it.
I
If you
agree
flew
with
at
you.
level flight at 2 feet, you should have got a lousy score.
Yep.
Plain and simple. Doesn't
I
matter
agree
how
with
level
you.
it was.
I do not disagree. I'm just telling you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
it
it's
happens.
just-
You're
I
right.
didn't change it because it says you got to maintain the flight. You know, you should be going up and down, and
That's
on each successive lap, you should be all on. Whatever you establish, that's the altitude you should have. So I kept it there.
Well, that's one big error every lap.
I'll
Yeah,
tell you what,
Even if you pull out at 2 feet, you better get up to that 5 foot plus or minus for everything for
Luckily.
the rest of those laps.
yep.
well,
Hey,
the
guys.
way that Big Art used to he told us when we went to his school, he said, when you have to watch each individual pilot. And when he takes off and he does that 5 laps of level flight, that establishes the bottom for them.
That is not true.
No.
That is
That is
not
not
true.
true.
Hold
Wrong
on, guys.
again.
I'm gonna end the program. We could talk after the show's over.
Wow.
Oh, time to end the show.
That's
Time
awesome.
to end the public portion of this program.
That's correct.
Yeah.
People are starting to yell, so it's time to end.
Yeah.
All
Well, I'll
right,
tell you
guys.
this much, you
Let
set
me
a camera
finish
on a
out the
tripod,
program,
you go to
please.
the Nationals, and you watch Bob Hunt, Les McDonald, Bob
James.
Geesey, and well, any of the top guys. Their inverted flight, their right side up flight, and their inverted flight is right in front of the camera.
Okay, I'm gonna end the show now. You guys can talk after the show.
Hi, guys.
I appreciate everybody watching on YouTube. We do it for 2 hours. They used to do it for 6, 8, 10 hours or whatever, but I ain't going through that. Like, subscribe, and share. Steve will be your host here. Let me get back to this.
Which Steve?
Yeah. Which one?
Not you.
Okay.
Whoa,
Not you.
that's a good answer.
Steve, I guess he told you, Steve.
Mm.
All righty. We'll see you later. Fair winds, tight lines. See ya.
Yeah. Go ahead and give it to Junior. He's more computer literate.